my story, why I do what I do, why do I create workshops and seminars for karma, destiny, and free will, and change and awareness. Because I had to go through that. Because I hit rock bottom 10 years ago when I gave birth to my third child. Because I didn't get any help. I didn't get any understanding of what's going on. I just hit rock bottom, and I was pretty much alone in a foreign country, very far away from home, with 2 children already and a third child on the way. And that's when my panic attack started. People think that who you are and who they see you are right now, with the confidence that you have, with the strength, with all those videos that I record on Instagram, that this is me completely. And it is me. But to get to this has been a very bumpy road, and very lonely and very vulnerable road. And if I could become that version of me right now, you can. Everyone can. And a lot of people are still going through harsh times. But that doesn't mean we're not going to share and hold on to each other. So my story behind all of the work that I do is I was in a lot of pain. I was alone. I went to therapy. I tried everything. And I thought all the outside work will help me understand me. And it did add a lot to me. But the hard work was me, facing my limiting belief, facing the inner child wounds. I had to revisit my parents, have difficult conversations with them. My mom, my dad, huge amount of trauma from my childhood. A lot of fears that I wasn't aware of. That's why they say heal the masculine, heal the feminine. But it's so simple when people say it, and it's so difficult to go through that process. You need someone, a therapist, to say, so how did that feel when you were young? Who triggered this in you? And the moment you start opening, you actually want to shut down and run away because it's far too painful. You never thought about it, or even if you have, you were terrified. Either you felt guilt, blame, or shame, or just simply pain. So going and opening the wounds is the hardest, but it is the only way. That's why I do workshops for change, awareness, separation, and for karma, destiny, and free will. Because the more we understand where is this wound coming, why that happened to me, what was the reason for this kind of damage. There is no damage, but it's pain and suffering, and it was necessary. And the moment you understand that everything is given to you so you can grow, imagine you live a life that everything's fine, nothing happens in terms of negativity, and you're not challenged. How are you going to grow? How are you going to be tested to change a behavior or simply to evolve? Well, yet we haven't reached that point where we actually are in a higher vibration and being able to sustain that higher vibration without any struggle, challenge, or any triggers that coming our way. So everything is a blessing. But back then, I didn't think it was a blessing because I was suffering and I wasn't functioning at home like many of you aren't. So those who are sitting in silent relationships, in suffering alone, and think something's wrong with you and that it's all your fault, and it's beating yourself up and fearing to make a jump because you have millions of scenarios telling you you're not going to succeed, but the opposite. This fear that keeps you trapped is the fear that you've got to go through and say, get out of my way. I see you, I hear you, I welcome you, but you can't stay here for a long time because I'm taking responsibility who I want to be. And again, to get to that point, you've got to open the Pandora box with what is not working, who you don't want to be anymore. How will you talk to yourself first? How are you going to give self-love to you in order for you to be loved from outside? Because you will continue to attract the same relationships unless you start acknowledging your qualities. What are they? Write them on a piece of paper. What is your belief system? Write down what are your values and what are the triggers that come up now. And then write desires that you want to have and achieve, that you have actually and you desire to achieve. And the moment you work on yourself, on your limiting beliefs, and you address them and you clear them and you let them go through your system, is the moment when your desires will start coming because you're changing. And again, I'm not saying it's easy, but that's why I do what I do. And those workshops are for those who really want to transform, really desire to participate in their own life and to take responsibility in the opportunities waiting for you. So, 16th of November, if you want to join me, if you want to find out what are the wounds that's stopping you to get up in the morning with a smile, with a joy and meaning, and to create from a place of I'm not tired, I want to keep creating, then this is for you. But remember, you have to face fears and you have to bless those fears in order to grow and evolve.